And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the Late Night Show podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Hey, I've got some jokes for you. Let's get into it. The U.S. government shut down. Wow, Jesus Christ, Chad. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I tip my hand at my jokes. All right, if you're watching the video, this is going to look stupid. And if you're listening to the audio, it sounds stupid, but I'm starting over. I've got some jokes for you. Let's get to the jokes. The U.S. government shut down on Wednesday after, due to Congress's failure to pass a funding bill for the new fiscal year. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers were left either to work for no pay or furloughed while several government services were suspended. Yet somehow Truth Social still has enough server space to operate. All right, let's get on the next joke. This is so stupid. President Trump deployed 200 National Guard troops to Portland after he said the city is being run like, quote, a third world country. And based on what I know from Portland, thanks to this mug from Powell Books, if third world means kitschy, then yeah, it's pretty much third world. Dumb joke. Now, the Energy Department tells its employees not to use words including climate change, green, and decarbonization in order to restrict the discussion of climate change. And oddly enough, I use the same tactics with women I date, except they can't say things like, "Who are you?" and "Stop following me," and "How did you get in here?" While visiting New Zealand, FBI director and human iguana cosplayer Kash Patel gave New Zealand officials 3D printed guns that are illegal to possess under local laws. Even worse, he handed them to the coat rack in the corner. And finally, Nicole Kidman filed for divorce from her husband of almost 20 years, Keith Urban. And finally, she can go to her true love, the AMC Theater. Those are the jokes I have for you. We're done. I messed up, and I will keep it in. Because that's how this show works. This week was a pretty busy week over there for all the late night shows. It's fascinating to see what the programming has been as we come out of the summer, go into fall, and get towards the Oscar season. This week on the Tonight Show, Dwayne Johnson, Mariah Carey performed music. Dwayne Johnson was there. Henry Winkler, Phineas, and Ash. I don't know who Ash is. But Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother. Doja Cat sat in to co-host an episode. The comedian Drewski was there. Mark Ruffalo was there. Addison Rae performed and was a guest. And Chase Infinity from the wonderful movie One Battle After Another. I saw that movie and I couldn't pick the name out. I talked about it at the dog park just an hour ago. Insane. Lionel Richie, Sarah Sherman, they were the first two guests this week on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and then followed up with Chelsea Fry, Charlie Hunnam, and Kate McKinnon, Christian Slater, Renee Rapp, and sorry, I just added corrections to my list, my watch later list. Io Dibbery and David Sedaris. They also had one of the writers, whose name escapes me right now, Scollins, perform, do a sketch, and it was very funny. It was good. Jimmy Kimmel was in Brooklyn this week, and thank goodness that he was able to come back and do shows from Brooklyn, as he does every single year. He had Public Enemy perform. He also had Ryan Reynolds show up as a guest. Josh Johnson, who I've interviewed twice. He was a guest. Kumail Nanjiani, Stephen Colbert was a guest. Emily Blunt, Eben Moss-Bacharach. The band Geese performed. They also had Jeremy Allen White, who was my cousin, and Bruce Springsteen were sitting as guests, and Living Color performed, and it was just it was a great thing. And there are many surprises like Seth Meyers popping up and Josh Myers playing Gavin Newsom popping up, and I believe Jon Stewart was in the monologue this past Friday episode. Now, here's the counter programming that seemed so odd to me. Obviously everybody knew that Kimmel was going to be in Brooklyn, and for some reason, Stephen Colbert's Late Show had one of the best weeks I think the show has had in the past couple of months. Conan O'Brien was a guest, and he sat there for a minute. Sam Smith was a guest. Jimmy Kimmel himself was a guest as well. And then Julia Roberts. Sam Smith also performed. Julia Roberts popped up as well, and Lady Gaga, which I didn't watch last night's Late Show, and I will after this. But she was the episode long guest, and it's fantastic to see Colbert do the interviews away from the show. It's fun. He did it with Elizabeth Warren, and he's done it with other people as well. But I don't know why the Elizabeth Warren one popped up. Jon Stewart this week hosted Monday, obviously, for The Daily Show, and he spoke to Jill Lepore. And Ronnie Chang did hosting duties this week, and he took over hosting duties. And he sat down with Cristela Alonso, Benny Safdie, and Kevin Nguyen. And Michael Costa popped up, and I don't know this comedian's name, but there's another opinion piece. So there you go. Wonderful. And last week tonight, John Oliver talked about Benjamin Netanyahu. But I want to get to this topic I have dialed in right now. Jimmy Fallon was interviewed on CNBC's Squawk Box, and he mentioned, or they asked him about the current state of late night and politics, and he said that they hit, on his show in particular, they hit both sides equally, and that he wants to keep his head down and just basically avoid politics. I have an article pulled up here from Variety, written by Jack Dunn, that says Jimmy Fallon plans to, quote, keep my head down and avoid politics on the Tonight Show. We hit both sides equally. Now, I understand. I the reaction, the fervor behind this. I understand that people believe that in today's day and age of late night and comedy in general, that there needs to be some sort of this mug is still sitting here from the monologue, that there needs to be some sort of knee-jerk reaction or planned out reaction when it comes to late night and just being a comedy person in general, and responding to the world around us today. In particular for late night, it has to be, hey, you have to make jokes about Trump, and they have to be pointed, and his cronies, and or whomever you don't like, whatever. But when I saw, excuse me, it wasn't Squawk Box, it was Squawk on the Street. I watched Squawk Box. He was on Squawk on the Street. But when I saw this interview, and I immediately thought, oh, people are going to come out and be like, well, Jimmy's got no teeth and this and that, and he's just stupid, and I don't like watching his show. This is not me playing devil's advocate, but I feel that Jimmy has sort of solidified himself as kind of, a silly person just doing the stuff for the jokes. We have Colbert at this point doing politics. We have Kimmel at this point doing politics. We have Seth Meyers doing politics. And we also have John Oliver and the Daily Show crew. Before that, we also had Samantha Bee's Full Frontal doing the same thing. Last week, I spoke about Lily Singh's show and how she was in an interview recounting her time on that show. And she was, the show, for all that it was a silly show. When Conan was on, he was a silly person. You don't have to be... Jimmy Fallon likened himself to Johnny Carson, who I would say, Carson was a funny guy, but he also did, some political stuff. But for all intents and purposes, Conan, Fallon, and Carson, you can just kind of lump them together, and I'll say even Corden as well, James Corden. You can lump them together, and, in totality, while yes, they do make jabs at, whomever's in charge, they also are these kind of evergreen people, and they it doesn't the world doesn't necessitate them, or at the time of Carson and Corden and Conan when they were hosting their shows, the world didn't necessitate them to make these pointed efforts for political satire. It doesn't have to be one way for one type of comedy. And I see a snarky Vanity Fair headline about this article, but about the interview, but Fallon, I don't expect him to make jokes about hard hitting jokes about Trump. I don't want him to. Yes, we all remember him patting Trump on the head, and feeling if the hair was real. But also SNL had him host when he was running for president. They also had him host a couple of times before that. He was at the Oscars. He was at the Emmys on stage. I love the movie The Other Guys. He's in the unrated version in the deleted scenes, I believe. I don't expect much from Fallon in that regard. Mostly just to entertain. That's what he's there to do, is entertain, and he's not there to inform. This is the problem with people who watch late night. It's the only people who are pitting late night hosts against each other are the people who watch late night. Just because you don't watch Fallon doesn't mean that he doesn't have as much utility as Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers. Fallon is there, and he doesn't have to be for you. I love Taylor Swift. She's not for everybody. She's the most popular artist in the world. Well, I would say Bad Bunny right now is probably the most popular, but she's the most popular artist in the world. Her, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga. I'll name a man. Bad Bunny, the most popular artist in the world. But not everybody likes every single one of those artists because they don't scratch the same itch as the artist next to them. So why does Fallon, in this very small group of male hosts, white male hosts, and this small group of hosts, why does he have to do the same thing as everybody else? Here's this quote from the interview. "We hit both sides equally, and we try to make everybody laugh, and that's really the way our show works," Fallon said. "Our monologues are kind of the same that we've been doing since Johnny Carson was hosting Tonight Show. So really, I just keep my head down and just make sure the jokes are funny." Now, here's the thing. I do watch Tonight Show. I watch all of these shows, but on Tonight Show, I will say this, in the past couple of months, they've really turned to a similar style of joke where this one person said, blah, blah, blah. And then this other person said, blah, blah, blah. And that's like the joke. And it's unfunny to me. In the same way that a lot of Colbert's jokes are unfunny to me. Fallon said, "I have great writers," he added, and we're just trying to make the best show we possibly can and entertain everybody. Right. So it's the politics thing. I don't think he's necessarily avoiding it on purpose. I just don't think it appeals to him. I think he's I hate to say this. He's a golden retriever of a human being. He doesn't like. Well, I don't really like golden retrievers, but he's not here to offend anybody. He's not here to make pointed jabs at anybody like that. When I wrote, I was asked to submit a packet along with a lot of other people, but I was asked to submit a packet I know I spoke about this for Last Week Tonight, and they had a rule, just don't make mean-spirited jokes about. Well, it didn't say mean-spirited jokes. That's not the exact wording, but it said, don't make fun of somebody just to make fun of somebody. And I'll tell you, this is how old it was. I wrote about Devin Nunes and his farm or whatever that was. So it's different. It's different for each show, even though you watched Last Week Tonight and there's some not stuff that is mean, but it's not as mean as I would make it, because I'll be very mean if I can. But I don't think Fallon is in the business of having to just fully take a shit on somebody and that be the thing, and I don't think he has to. He doesn't have to be there. It's not necessary. It's different for each host. It's different for each host. And I would rather see him do what he's good at and just try to be fun than take swipes and take jabs and just have them miss. But also, would it really, to pivot off of that, would it hurt his image if he went that mean one day? If we saw him, do something very mean, then would that make you like him more? Or would it be fun, when he has people like Bad Bunny or Justin Bieber or Doja Cat sit in and co-host? Would they be able to take the meaner jokes? Because in the end, he's just a person whose job it is to move things forward. I was thinking about this earlier today. Again, I love Taylor Swift. This new album is out. I'm listening to it at the gym. I'm listening to it in the shower. I'm listening to it as I walk Maverick to the dog park. I've listened to it at least 3 times through already since 5 a.m. And it is now 1 p.m., which is less than other people, than the little girls that listen to the show, that listen to this stuff. But I wonder, when she made an effort at the last election to finally stand up, to finally use her voice and say, be nice to people. I don't like this Trump person. And Dwayne Johnson has yet to do that. He's given money to Democrats. He's given money to Republicans. And then he's also said, I'm going to run for president myself. Is it, I see somebody like Dwayne Johnson. I see somebody like Beyonce. Unfortunately, I'm naming people of color, but I see somebody like people like them and people like Jimmy Fallon. We can probably say that they're on the right side of history and not, siding up with Trump, but they also have, in particular, Dwayne Johnson, fans from all corners of every spectrum. People, I said it last week in the Constitutionals or this show. Racist people love Disney movies. Even let's look at Disney. Racist people love Disney movies. Racist people will take their children to see a Marvel movie. So is it worth it for somebody like Dwayne Johnson, or in the case of this show, Jimmy Fallon, to say, hey, don't look at this Trump guy. Don't vote for this Trump guy. As opposed to, hey, we're just having fun. Let's just pay attention here. Hey, look at this. Look at this. I don't know. It's different. Okay. Well, I can't get to my second story, so I'll have to save that for next week. Listen, we're done. If you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com. It is a website again. Go there. It's a website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talking to celebrities. If you want to see a video version of those conversations, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see a video version of this show, as well as a video version of the other podcasts, the Constitutionals, the Entertainment Business News podcast, and LinkedIn Logs, which is the Jobs podcast. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on social media, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Instagram at @CPlusComedy. Me at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.